So let's think of it in a different way. I want to bring up a question. Why are you here? Why are you here? But before we answer that, I have a question for you. What is this? What is this? I know what it is. It's a question, right? That wasn't a trick question. Y'all was real simple. What is that? It's a question. And you're like, okay, I know that. Yeah, right. Okay, I have another question for you. What do questions get you? What do questions get you? It's not a trick. Questions get you answers. You ask questions, you get answers. So let's make sure we all share this principle in philosophy. Questions get answers. Well, good questions get answers, right? Like we want answers to questions. If I come up with with a question, I usually want to get it answered. All right. So I have a proposed principle and philosophy update that I'd like to make to you. To obtain good answers, you must ask a good question. To obtain good answers, you must ask a good question. Well, I've got a question for you now. Another one. What's a good question? What's a good question? Well, that's a great question. What a great question. Just right there. But in all seriousness, a good question to obtain good answers, you must ask a good question. To obtain good answers, you must ask a good question. Now, actually, I'm a bit of a stickler for words. I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this statement here. And it's the use of the word good over here. Good. Good. How many of y'all have heard that with weight loss all the time? What's a good diet food to eat? What's a good exercise to do? What's a good thing I should do? Good. What does that mean? It's not really that useful of a word, good. So what word should we use instead? Because questions get answers, and I want to have good answers. Well, what if I said helpful? What about instead of good questions, I was looking for helpful? So therefore, if we flip it, to obtain helpful answers, you must ask a helpful question. Okay, so maybe we could advance our personal principle in philosophy. Helpful questions lead to helpful answers. Unhelpful questions lead to unhelpful answers. Let me give you an example. You're at your work, you're doing your thing. Boss calls you in the office, and your boss just rips you a new one. I mean, don't get me wrong, you made a mistake. Like, you actually made a mistake, but the boss really didn't need to do it that much. But they just ripped you a new one. And you go back to your office, you sit down, you're all frustrated, you're all mad at yourself. And you think to yourself in this moment, why? Why do I always mess things up? Why do I always mess things up? See, this isn't a very helpful question. Many people might erroneously believe that this is a helpful question. It is not a helpful question. The reason why it is not a helpful question is because this keeps your mind focused on self-blame and on your mistakes. That's what it does. You want your questions not to be directed in a disempowering way. We're going to explain more as we go through this. I'm going to really break this down today. Now, before we get going any further, as we go throughout today, I wanted to maximize the amount of information I give you. So I have foregone a lot of pleasantries. Some of you might have already noticed. We're 10 minutes in and we are already getting to it. We're going to use every possible moment together to get the most out of our time together. So I've skipped a lot of the who am I. I'm going to send you some stuff if you need to know who I am. I'm going to skip a lot of the basic stuff. I'll point you in the directions with some emails if you want to go get that stuff. I wanted to get you stuff you could use today because give me a 1 in the chat If you're done sitting around doing nothing and you're ready to get started leveling up your journey, wherever you are, give me a 1 in the chat. Okay, so that's what I thought. I'm with the right people, but I just wanted to stop for a moment and explain. Some of you might be new, like, wait a minute. I feel like I've just stepped midway into a movie. No. We're starting at the beginning. We just skipped all the beginning parts and just jumped right into it. All right. So personal principle and philosophy update. You always get what you stay focused on for a long time. You always get what you stay focused on for a long time. So remember that disempowering question. So if you ask a question that keeps you focused on self-blame and your mistakes, what do you think you're going to find more of in your future? Mistakes that you will then go hunting for self-blame on. I used to do commercial cleaning. Here's one of the things I love about commercial cleaning is it's actually a great metaphor for life in so many ways. And here's one of the life lessons that you could derive from cleaning, which is this. It's impossible to have a clean building perfectly. There's no such thing as a perfectly clean building. There's always something dirty somewhere. And I would tell crews this and be like, look, all I got to do is hunt and I'll find it. Like, it's there. Any customer that wants to find dirtiness can go find it. It's there. It's just too big. And while you're cleaning something else up, somebody's getting something dirty over there. When you're cleaning 200,000 or 500,000 square feet, it ain't all going to be clean at once. It ain't all going to be clean at once. Why am I telling you this? Because your life will not be free of mistakes. It will not. The fact of the matter is you are going to make mistakes in life, and you're definitely going to make mistakes on your journey. 100% you're going to make mistakes. It's not an if. It's not a maybe. It's a when. And so if you ask questions that constantly keep you focused on your mistakes, what are you going to get? Mistakes.